Hey guys, real quick. Um, I know I did a video earlier. I'm gonna do another one. Just here to talk about something. You know, there's a lot of lazy people around, and they have their license and everything, but they don't want to. They can't afford the insurance because of the situation they put themselves in with their family, taking advantage of, taking all their money. For rent, for groceries and everything. That's understandable. A lot of people don't understand that, but when you have a busy schedule and you're always working, there's that one friend or that one colleague or that one acquaintance that you only hang out with once or twice a week that doesn't have a job or does have a job and they don't work as much as you do. Okay, they don't work as much as you do. They're at home more than you are, and most of the time they get on their phone and they start drama. But then when they get to work, they act totally different when they're at work. Okay? There's a few people I know that are like that. They have a job, but they constantly are always on their phone. They hit you up when you're at work, and when you tell them you're at work, they get mad and they blow up your phone anyway. I've had a few people have done that to me in the past. That's why I had to cancel my friendship with them because they're becoming toxic. I don't appreciate that. But then you have certain friends that only hit you up. Okay, for instance, I have a few friends that have a car that are mentally disabled, and there's friends they call their friends of theirs that only hit them up when it's convenient for that one friend that doesn't have a car. That friend is constantly always busy, and they only hit them up when it's inconvenient when it's inconvenient with the person with the car, but it's convenient for the person without the car but have the license. And they talk down to them, they take advantage of them, they talk shit to them and everything, and they treat them like garbage. They treat them like garbage. They talk down to them, and then they have a personal issue with me over some stuff that happened about three years ago that really wasn't none of their business, and they like to put it over my head, kind of like blackmail, or kind of like they're blackmailing me or blackballing me in a way, and I don't appreciate that. Manipulating the situation, I don't appreciate that, but that's how the cookie crumbles, even when it's not even in the mix. That's called stirring the pot. That's called fishing for information. That's called fishing. That's called fishing. You know, but that's how people are. People are going to be like that all the time because they have nothing else better to do. They have nothing else better to do, or they make they make a new Facebook account after you block them. After you block them, to see what if you're talking about them in another post when that post has nothing to do with them. Okay, they told me that I gotta be careful with what I say about or to that individual when really I can say what I want to say, and they got a problem that they can come see me face to face. But I'm not trying to have a confrontation with nobody. I ain't got time for that. And then you got some people that pit something against you that has nothing to do with them, and they hear it from a third party that I know personally, and I love them to death because they're part of my family. But they want to sit there and tell the other individual what happened with that said individual, and use it against you to make it seem like you're a bad person, and they want to say they can't trust you. But here's the thing. That's how life is, They pin something against you to make you seem like you're a bad person, but in reality, it's them with the issue. They got something going on in their personal life, and they're letting it affect them, and they're taking it out on somebody that has nothing to do with their personal issues. They may say they had nothing going on, but you can tell and know that they do by how they carry themselves. With how they treat you, with how they talk to you, with how they go about coming at you. Then they want to ride, when you're walking on the sidewalk, they want to ride their bike up about this close to you, want to ride their bike this close up to you, and try to get one on you. See if that happened back up. If that happened back in the day, if they knew me about 15 years ago and they did that, I would have carried their 66-year-old not. I would have clocked him in his mouth. I would have clocked him in his mouth because you ain't gonna try to scare me like that. And then they want to sit there and give me a lifelong lecture about how to live my life because I'm living it in a vicarious way, in a vicarious, a very biased way. That's not their place to tell me how to live my life. I'm doing good. I've not gotten in trouble in over 3 years. So they really need to mind their business and shut the darn mouth. Because what I got going on with me has nothing to do with them. I just got approved for a healthcare program to pay for my medication, so I don't have to pay nothing out of pocket for a straight year until I get pre-approved for the program. So I'm doing good. I just celebrated a year with Home Depot. Nobody or nothing's getting in my way of that. I'm not letting anybody or anything get in the way of that because they just want they just want a problem with you only because it's a life that they choose to handle. It's a life they choose to handle. It's a life they choose to live because there's nothing else better to do. You know, they want to try to get you involved with what they've got going on, but in reality, it's toxic to you. And your type of toxic is different than their type of toxic. They can handle that toxicity. A lot of people can't handle that toxicity because it's just too much. When it's not your problem, don't get involved with it. But then you choose to get involved with it anyway because you think you can control their situation better than you can control your own. Sometimes I wish this was about 5 or 10 years ago. Now let me take that back. I wish this was about 15 years ago where all this wasn't happening. Because this happened about 15 years ago. This happened about 15 or 16 years ago. And this individual was doing that. I wouldn't have fought him. I wouldn't have cared. But I'm not trying to get involved with that anymore. Because a lot of people carry guns on them and stuff, and I ain't got time to get shot. So I tend to avoid this individual for my safety and for their safety as well. Because this individual thinks I'm afraid of him. I'm not. I just don't got time for his BS. I don't got time for his problems. So I'm just trying to be careful. I'm focused on basketball. I'm focused on my job. I'm focused on getting right in life. I got some stuff coming up in the next few months that I'm looking forward to. I got a birthday coming up in a few months, so we'll see. So we'll see what we got in store for that. But like I said before, nobody's getting away with my success. No one's getting away with my fun. If they got a problem with me living life and everything, that's on them. I don't get involved in none of their business. I know enough to get involved in their business though, but I choose to stay in my lane because I don't know how that's going to go. And if I don't know anything about that, I'm not going to do it. I see I'm smart like that. A lot of people think I'm stupid and incompetent, but I know my stuff. I just choose not to get involved with it because my way of knowing now, as opposed to knowing back about 5-6 years ago, it's different now. The know has changed now. If you don't know, you know. If you know, you don't know. It's confusing. It's backwards. Life is backwards nowadays. Just live it the way you want to, and make sure you're careful, because everyone's trying to get a piece of you.